Hey everybody, this is Nightmare 26 here, bringing you another video. This is going to be a domination gameplay that's going to come down to the wire. So watch it all the way through so you can see how it ends. But I wasn't doing any live commentary through this video, so I thought I'd use it as a backdrop to talk about skill-based matchmaking. I just wanted to add my 2 cents in because I've been hearing a lot about it. Whether it's there or it's not there, it appears that there is some type of skill-based matchmaking. Whenever I go into a match, I seem to be fairly matched with other people. I'm a pretty average player. You know, I don't dominate or anything like that. Sometimes I'll have a monster game here or there, but most of the times, you know, I'm playing pretty average. But I do notice that it's difficult to get those good gameplays. So I hear a lot of people complaining about skill-based matchmaking. Should it be there? Should not be there? And their reasoning for it not being included. The only viable reason I would say if it not to be included is if it's being chosen over the connection. I'd rather have a good connection than have a completely balanced game. That is true. But all these other things are, oh, it's just that I want to relax and I just want to go into a game and, you know, be chill. You can be chill, even if it's skill-based. This is just people who are more worried about their stats than actually having fun with the game. You know, they want to see a game where they're getting a 3 KD, they're dropping 50 bombs every single game, you know, things like that. You don't need to drop 50 bombs to have fun with the game, so don't say that that's the only way you can have fun. You know, so that can't be a reason, or at least it shouldn't be a reason. And actually, I'm more for skill-based play because it keeps everything more interesting. It keeps everything more tight. It keeps everything fun. There's less blowouts, you know. People also say, oh, but then how are you going to get better if you don't play against better people? Well, depending on the way the matchmaking is, you're playing people against your level. The better you get, and as you start to dominate against them, or you start to increase your level higher than they are, well, you'll get matched against better people. So as you increase your abilities, you will start going against people with increased abilities as well. So you will start to increase. So, and no matter what, you're always going to at some point in time be matched with people that are better than you. Right? And if at some point you do start to dominate, where you're dominating everybody, well then you will most likely go against people who are better than the ones you've been playing against. So that's going to increase. So that's not an excuse either. I know it's really not that good for YouTubers and, you know, getting those monster gameplays and things like that, but, you know, sometimes you don't always want to see somebody drop a 50 and 2, you know, a 60 and 10. Sometimes you want to see also those close matches, and those videos are fun, you know, when you see a guy, you know, just completely dominating, you know, everybody and getting all these streaks and just kill, you know, even though this game, Advanced Warfare, is not like that so much. But every once in a while, you want to see this game where the person's actually playing the objective, you know, trying to get on that, trying to get that win. You know, you don't want to see just a domination match where the person's just slaying, no objective, and it's really far apart, the score. So it makes things a little more interesting, and for when you're playing, you know, it can get a little boring if every single match all you're doing is complete domination, right? So it's not that you can't have a big game, you know, one of those blowout games where you have a 10 KD, but it's just that's going to be a little more difficult to happen. But when it does happen, it's much more satisfying, not only because you did so well, but you didn't do that against scrubs. Right? You didn't do that against noobs. You did that against people that actually have some type of skill. Right? So I think people should worry less about stats in Advanced Warfare. Right? I think everybody basically knows by now that it's skill based. There is some type of skill base. How is it working? We don't know. But I think everybody knows by now. So when you see that person with that 2 KD, that 3 KD, something, you know that they really worked for that. Yeah? a 2 KD is maybe a 3 or 4 KD in any other event, in any other Call of Duty. You know, a 1 KD, a 1.1 KD is maybe like a 1.5 or 1.8. You know, so you can make those adjustments. You know, people know what's going on, so it's not like, oh my God, my stats are so horrible because it's not a 3, it's a 2.25. You know, well, so what? Are you winning your games? Right? Are you going positive? Hmm? Those clutch games. What are you doing? Are you slaying? Are you getting those tags? Are you getting on that flag? Are you protecting your teammate that's on the flag? You know, things like that. I know it's much harder for solo play as well, yeah, as people say, because if you're going in solo and you're playing against a bad team, you know, so you're against people of equal skill level, but if the other team is playing as, you know, in a group and you're playing, you know, solo and nobody else is doing it, you know, it can make it a little hard, and I can understand that's why I see some YouTubers, they do a lot of team deathmatch, they do a lot of free for all, you know, things like that, because those games are a little bit better for solo players. So this worry about skill-based matchmaking, it should be gone, it should be taken out. I really don't think so. It should be adjusted. That is true, because maybe you have people within a, if it's by prestige, maybe like a 2 to 3 prestige range, or something like that. Basically, focus on the connection. Get people with a good connection, you know, and then once you have that group of people with a good connection, then you verify their skill level, and then you try to match them up. But don't, just because you want everybody to be the same, you know, or on equal grounds, you're gonna put somebody with a real crappy connection against, you know, all of those people together, and then, you know, create a lot of lag in the game, because you want, you know, you want smooth gameplay, you want those gunfights, you know, to be, you know, fair. That's the whole point of the skill base, is to have it more fair. But if you're having lag, then that makes no sense. So yeah, there seems to be some adjustments needed. I think it should stay, but it shouldn't be favored over a connection. You know, if you have to put some noobs together with some guys that are really skilled just to keep the server and the host and keep the lag down, you know, then that's fine. You know? And also these matches where maybe you have a couple of 3 prestiges, somebody prestige 3, somebody prestige 5, somebody prestige 6, and then you have in that team somebody's only prestige 1. Well, as long as you balance the teams, which is what they're supposed to be doing, and maybe have some really good players on one side, teamed up with some bad, you know, some bad players or players that are not so good, and on the other side you have really good players teamed up. You know, as long as you do that, the only time it can be more difficult is when you, basically a group of people, a party comes in and they're all good level, and then you're just searching for scrubs, guess, on the other side. You know, but if you can find them some decent players to play against, I think it'd be more interesting. You know, people need to stop worrying about having to dominate over everybody. You're not gonna get a trophy. You're not gonna win it. If you want to compete, if you want to, you know, start, you know, competing in Call of Duty professionally and stuff like that, then you do want to be playing against, you know, good players. And if you're a pro player, yeah, and maybe you're not dropping those 50 bombs as much as you used to, but you're playing, you know, a good game. You're keeping your team in there. You're trying to win those things, you know, and you have some good gameplays. The stats won't matter as much, because even then, your stats, your plays are going to be better than other people. Because even if a noob, you know, gets up to level prestige 2 or something like that, that doesn't mean they're as good as a pro at turning on people, you know, with those movements, going back and all that stuff. So I think that's the beauty of the game. The beauty of the game is how it's played, not what's my KD. You know, everybody wants a good KD. Everybody wants a good win-loss ratio. But then at the end of the day, that shouldn't be what determines was the game fun or not. All right. So I think people need to, you know, chill out a little bit, just enjoy yourself, have some fun. I mean, if you do want to just, you know, relax, because that's what people say. Like I said at the beginning, people sometimes they just want to come in and relax and not have to worry so much against tryhards and that. So then just play your game, just play normal. you know, run around, hand back, you know, whatever game style you want to play, and just have fun with it. If you didn't have a monster game, then you didn't have a monster game. When you want to have a monster game, you try hard. There you go. All right? I mean, I think it's nice that there's some balance to the game. You know, makes things more fun, makes things more interesting. It's not one-sided. I mean, who really likes one-sided? The only people who like things one-sided are the people who are dominating over everybody else. And even then, I'm pretty sure every once in a while you get bored. I mean, pros probably don't get as much bored because they dominate against the noobs and things like that. But then at the end of the day, you know, they're also competing against pros all the time. So they have the best of both worlds. They can dominate in a pub, but they also have, you know, that competition when they get in when they get into a tournament and things like that, and when they're doing scrims. So that's my idea. Also, a tip: it does work out where if you team up in a party with a lower level person, if that is the way it is, you will most likely get matched with lower tier people. So that's kind of like a trick workaround that you can use. Party up with somebody who's a low level, right? Join in with them, and then you'll get in with lower levels. It did work for me. Then once I got out of the game with them, it happened that all of a sudden everybody's skills were increased. And then the matches were a little more difficult for me, and I wasn't dominating as much. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.